Yes, I see him here now.
Okay, well, go ahead and you begin live, and I'll open up.
I'm on.
Thank you, Terry. All right, go ahead, Krista, so you can open the meeting up, and I'll be in as soon as you give me the okay.
It looks like we're good to go, President Klein.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Want to welcome everybody back from the holidays and our vacation. Hope all went well. I'd like to call our January 12th, 2021 meeting to order. And I'd like to begin with the approval of minutes November 17th. And I believe Commissioner Baker, you may have been absent that day. So is that correct? So we need 4 people to vote and a motion for that.
I make the motion to approve the November 17th minutes.
Is there a second?
I'll second, Randy.
Okay. Any further discussion, changes? If not, all in favor, say aye by name. Aye, Jeff.
Aye, Core Schmidt.
Hi, Randy.
And waiting on Wayne.
Aye, Wayne.
Thank you, Wayne. And Terry, you were absent that day, so we have a 4-0 vote. Next, I'd like to call for the approval of the December 15th minutes. Is there any questions, comments? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve December 15th meeting minutes.
I second it.
Okay, I have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye by name.
Aye, Core Schmidt.
Hi,
Aye,
Randy.
Wayne. Aye, Terry Baker. Aye, Terry Baker.
Okay. Aye, Jeff. And anybody else?
Aye,
Do we
Wayne.
have all? Thank you, Wayne. That's 5-0. Thank you. We'll open our meeting with Commissioner reports and comments. Commissioner Baker, Vice President Baker, would you begin with any reports or comments? Commissioner Baker, can you hear me? All right, we can come back to Terry. Commissioner Keeper, would you like to open up with some comments?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Wayne.
My mute's coming on and off, so I apologize for those earlier delays.
That's right, we understand. Thank you.
Several things. Is John Martirano with us today?
I am here, Commissioner
Yeah.
Keeper.
Okay, good. Welcome back, John. It's good to sit at the table with you again, kind of a virtual table this time. Looking forward to when we can all get back into a meeting room together and work again together at the table. That'll be a good day. So looking forward to that, and hopefully that comes soon. Welcome back.
Well, thank you, Commissioner.
January 9th was National Law Enforcement Day. I just want to take another opportunity to thank those police officers that work for our towns, the city of Hagerstown, our county deputies, our state police officers who work to keep our community safe. Such an important role, and they do that in the face of incredible scrutiny in this day and age. So thank you for all that you do. Would also like to thank Meredith and the health department for their efforts in getting the vaccines distributed and starting to vaccinate our community. Just want to encourage those two groups to work together. They have been given a very important task, and they have an important task ahead of them to accomplish to vaccinate our community. I've had many questions from the community about how that process works, assuming it falls on county government. And I just want to say, as I told everyone who questioned me how the process works, you don't want politicians making that decision. So I think leave it up to our health professionals at Meredith and the health department to do so. I had some calls also about the vaccine, the different phase groups. Some groups are being vaccinated a little earlier. Maybe if we could just help to clarify that that's not a county decision. It doesn't have to be done right now on this call, but that's not a county decision. I know there's been some concerns about that. and those are decisions made by outside of county government. So just would like to clarify that and make that be known. Two final things kind of connected here. I had commented a couple at our last meeting, I think, when I listened into my nephew's Zoom school lessons, that the teachers continued to recite the Pledge of Allegiance, even though they were not in a classroom, but it was done virtually. And I thought that was very nice that the Pledge of Allegiance continued to be recited. So I'm hoping that although we are meeting virtually, maybe we can continue to add the Pledge of Allegiance onto our agenda going forward, whether we meet virtually or in person, of course. And I think that's important. That's important to show unity for our country. And it's been a while. I know, I think it was Commissioner Schmidt who suggested at the beginning of our term that maybe we invite a different local pastor into our meetings each week to open with a prayer. And we started to do that, and then that faded away for whatever reason. Maybe we could bring that back as well, open our meetings. I know in my first term as a commissioner, we opened every meeting with a prayer, and I would like to start that again, open with a prayer. Different denominations, absolutely fine. But see if there might be interest in that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Commissioner Baker, have you joined us? Are you ready for comments? Terry?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we got you. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, the only comment that I have is I know the newspaper did an article on the log cabin that was discovered down there on the Johnson Street area. And I'd just like to give a special thanks to the Murball Demolition Construction Company. Had they not had the experience that they have with demolitions, and knowing when they started to demolish the building that it was a special structure, and then they immediately halted the demolition, and then went out and pursued the next step. So I think a really special thank you to the Murball family for recognizing that was a special historical building there on Jonathan Street. And I'm not sure which county commissioner is on the Historical Advisory Commission. Is that you, Wayne?
That is me, sir.
Okay. So I was kind of wondering maybe you could talk to your board and maybe to see if that would possibly could be recognized with some sort of an award to the Murballs for identifying the structure, understanding the historical significance of that structure, and then just stopping the demolition immediately. And money never even entered his mind. He just knew it was a special structure. But maybe you could talk to somebody, Wayne, and see if there's some sort of an award that the Murballs could be presented with.
Good idea.
Yeah, so, and that concludes my comments.
Okay, Terry, that's a really good idea, Wayne. Perhaps that could be a nomination for the John Fry Awards that we have every year. So that's a great suggestion. Thank you. Commissioner Schmidt, do you have some commissioner comments?
Yes, wish everybody a happy new year, and realistically an end of 2020, and hopefully 2021 is much better. Couple things, even though we've been off for a little bit, I've been quite active in a lot of different meetings. We have the Western Maryland for Future Economic Development Commission that's going on, and we're going to be submitting. It's a task force that was designated by the delegation in Annapolis, and so we'll be submitting our report back to Annapolis and trying to get a couple extra bills in for our 3 Western Maryland counties. Our MACO meetings started yesterday, and with everything that's going on in Annapolis, of course, it's fast and furious already. So I think we've got some positive bills out there that are going to help, Maryland and then Western Maryland specifically. And then also been working with Senator Quarterman and a couple other senators and delegates for the Medicaid reimbursement bill that is part of our priorities. I think it's one of our biggest priorities out here for Washington County. And things look really good. I think we're going to have some bipartisan support for that, and we'll keep pushing it down in Annapolis.
Okay. Court, anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
All right. Krista, please take note. My phone keeps muting me on and off without me doing so. So if any of the commissioners are having problems, please be aware of that. All right. Commissioner Wagner, comments from you?
Morning. First of all, I guess, happy birthday, Krista. Our county clerk's birthday today, unless I screwed that up, but I think it is. I wanted to welcome.
Randy, thank you.
Thank you. I wanted to welcome John Martinero aboard. It's good to have you here, John. I didn't work with you last time, but I hear nothing but good. Everybody I talk to say, good pick, good pick. So that's good. I wanted to thank Kirk for an astounding year, tough year, getting us through that as interim county administrator. And I wanted to send out my best thank you to Kirk. And then I had one request from maybe HR, county administrator, and I guess whoever gets an EOC or whatever. You know, I've had several calls and a couple people with I think we're going to talk about it later, but the COVID with our employees, I think there's still a confusion on our policy. And some people think I think it should be put out to the directors, and maybe it has, but obviously it hadn't reached everybody. What's our real policy? Is it 10 days off quarantine, 14 days off quarantine? Is it a retest before you come back to work? Just maybe to clarify it, or people wouldn't have asked me if they were sure of it. So I'm not even sure I can answer it completely. So anyway, that's it, Jeff. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Randy. Krista, can everyone hear me?
Yes, President Klein.
Okay. Yeah, my phone keeps going on and off on mute. First of all, Commissioner Wagner stole my thunder. Happy birthday, Krista. He must have saw that on Facebook. Happy birthday to you and many more.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Second, I'd like to bring up an issue about the COVID. Just want to make sure that we have a policy where I do not believe we will mandate the vaccine to be taken by employees. I believe that will be their choice. So we'll get clarity on that later. But I had some questions about that. And I believe county government will not mandate you to take that vaccine. Back on track here, I'd like to welcome John Martorano back on board as our county commissioner. Wish you all the best. And again, I'd like to extend my gratitude for interim county administrator Kirk Downey, now back to our lead legal attorney. Thank you for what you did during that year, from budget to COVID to all the things in between there. Thank you for those efforts. On a sad note, you're welcome, both of you. On a sad note, I do want everybody to recognize the family of Mark Maids, our deputy director wireless communication, who passed this week. His dad, former Sheriff Maids. We extend our sympathies and support to his family for the passing of Mark. And one other point I'd like to make: since we've been meeting virtual, we haven't had many citizens' participation in person. I do want to keep a reminder going out that our citizens can still reach us by phone and by email, and we look forward to the day when we can have people back in front of us for citizens' participation. With that being said, that concludes my report. Next on the agenda is the Salary Study 2020 Ordinance. County Attorney Downey, I believe you are presenting. Please continue.
President Klein, we need staff comments.
Oh, I'm sorry. Pardon me. I jumped over that. I told you to remind me, so thank you. Krista, do you have staff reports?
I do, sir.
Would you please announce who's up?
I personally have a recommendation for a reappointment to the Washington County Community Health Advisory Commission. We would like to reappoint Cynthia Powell to serve a first full 3-year term as a civil engineering firm representative from August 1st, 2020 through July 31st, 2023 on the Community Health Advisory Commission. This is not a paid board.
Right.
Motion to approve.
Commissioners' comments, motion to approve.
Motion to approve Cynthia Powell's.
Is there a second?
This is Wayne, second.
First and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Terry, aye.
Randy, aye.
Jeff, aye.
Court
Wayne, aye.
All right. I think that sounded like 5-0. Thank you. Krista, staff comments. I believe Debbie Condo's scheduled. Debbie, are you ready? Deb Condo,
Yes, I am, Commissioner Klein.
please move forward.
Good morning, Commissioners and County Administrator Martirano. This is Deborah Condo, Deputy Director of Human Resources. I've asked to present in front of you today an open session concerning a request for an extension of the Ffcra. As you're aware, the federal government did not extend the Ffcra past its expiration of December 31st, 2020. Given that we're still in the midst of the pandemic with increasing incident rates, and we've had many employees reach out to us with the need due to COVID exposure, whether primary or they themselves are testing positive. We feel it's in the best interest of the county as a business, as well as for the employees, to at least extend the benefit through March 31st, which is what the federal government is allowing the private sector to do.
Okay, Deb, would that be a consensus you're hearing from the commissioners, or you want to vote to do that?
I would like to request that there would be an approval, whether that's through a consensus or a vote.
Commissioner Klein.
Yes, sir.
This is John. I just want to say that I fully support this recommendation. We've looked at this, and I know that we've received a number of inquiries from county employees, and I know that the commissioners have as well. And again, with the COVID numbers the way they are, and for the safety of our employees, I think this is the correct thing for us to do now. So I just wanted the commissioners to know that I support this recommendation. And yes, I think a motion would be appropriate to go ahead and extend these benefits through the end of March. And at that time, we'll reevaluate and see where we are at that time.
All right. Thank you, John. Commissioners, is there a motion or any further discussion?
I'd motion
this-
to approve, Randy.
I'll second, Terry.
I have first and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye by name. Jeff, aye.
Michael Schmidt.
Hi, Wayne.
Hi, Randy.
Okay, that sounds like 5. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioners.
All right. Next up, staff reports either from Kirk Downey or John Martirano.
Commissioners, I just want to thank you for your support during the last year when I served as the County Administrator. It was a year with unexpected challenges, and I certainly appreciate your support and the support shown for county staff, and want to welcome John back to Washington County government. Look forward to working with you all as we move forward.
Thank you, Kirk. John, any comments today?
I do. Just a few, Commissioner Klein. Commissioners, it's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate your comments this morning. I want to thank each of you for the opportunity to be the new county administrator for Washington County, and for the confidence that you've shown in me. I also want to thank all the county employees for their warm welcome on my first few weeks on the job. So I look forward to working with all of you as we deal with the issues that come before you each week. I would also like to thank Kirk for all of his work and hard work and dedication during the past year. We all appreciate that. A few other questions or a few other comments that I have. Commissioner Klein already mentioned it, but I wanted to pass on our condolences to the family of Deputy Director Wireless Communication Mark Maids. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family and friends and his co-workers as they deal with this in this unfortunate situation. So I just want to pass on our condolences to the family. Secondly, we know that COVID numbers remain high. I just want to remind everyone to continue to be diligent by wearing a face covering, practice social distancing, and continue to wash your hands and use hand sanitizer frequently. The next item, I guess it sort of goes along with that, is the vaccine. I think Commissioner Kiefer mentioned it this morning. We are in state phase 1A, and they anticipate they'll go to phase 1B, hopefully at the end of January. But just to answer Commissioner Kiefer's question, or at least make a comment on that, those decisions are made by the state through the health department. the health department receives a certain number of vaccinations. Meredith receives a certain number as well. And the health department and our EOC is obviously, assisting where we can, but those decisions about who are in those phases those are state decisions. But obviously the county is helping in any way that they can. So hopefully we'll move through 1A quickly and be ready to move into 1B in the next few weeks. One other thing I'll mention, there was a comment about, I think Commissioner Wagner mentioned about some questions from staff about what our policies are. It's my understanding there was some policies that were sent out to all the directors and some questions were answered, but I will ask staff to resend those, our policies and procedures out to our division directors and department heads and staff so they can understand. If they have any questions, they can reach out and we can assist them with that. And I think Commissioner Klein mentioned about the vaccine. He is correct. There will not be, it will not be mandated by county employees. It'll be offered when it is our turn. And I think that's actually probably going to be in phase 1B. But we're still looking at that, but it will not be mandated. It will be offered, but it will not be mandated. And I think that's all I have this morning, Commissioner Klein.
Thank you, Administrator Montereno. We will now go, if there's no more staff reports, we'll go to our first agenda item, which is the 2020 Salary Study Commission Ordinance. And I believe our County Attorney Kirk Downey is the lead on that discussion. Mr. Downey, would you please begin?
Yes, good morning again, Commissioners. As you know, state law requires that every 4 years a Salary Study Commission be constituted and that the commission is required by statute to study certain elected positions and some appointed positions as required by law. These include the Board of County Commissioners, the Board of Education, the Board of Liquor License Commissioners, judges of the Orphans Court, the sheriff, and the treasurer. And if you recall, as we've told you before, the Salary Study Commission is studying the positions and not the individuals in those positions, and makes recommendations to the Board of County Commissioners regarding salary adjustments that may need to be made and which would take effect generally with the next term of office following the gubernatorial election that's forthcoming in 2 years or a little less than 2 years. The board has, or the Salary Study Commission has made its, has conducted its studies. It held a public hearing and has made recommendations and issued a report which it forwarded to the Board of County Commissioners. The Board of County Commissioners may increase or may accept the recommendations or reduce them, but it may not increase the recommendations. The board came to a consensus when the report was presented on all positions except for the Board of Education, at which time the board requested input from the current Board of Education as to its position regarding the recommended increase. I believe correspondence has been received from the Board of Education concerning the board's inquiry, and that has been presented to the board. Therefore, at this time, it's appropriate for the board to act on the recommendations from the Salary Study Commission to come to a consensus regarding the Board of Education recommendation, and thereafter to adopt the ordinance which establishes the salaries for these positions based on the Salary Study Commission's reports.
Thank you, Mr. Downey. Commissioners, comments, questions, or is a consensus to approve the Board of Ed recommendation and a motion for the ordinance? Comments or questions are requested.
This is,
this is
you go ahead, Commissioner Baker.
no, you go ahead. You were first.
I can make the motion to accept the Board of Ed's increase during the our original meeting, we asked for the Board of Ed's comments on it since it would directly affect their budget. And we wanted their comments on it, and they concur that they think that in the letter that education is a driver for economic success of Washington County, and that undercompensation could be a possible hindrance in having a diverse cohort of individuals considered serving. So if the Board of Education thinks that that's going to help them and they're okay with having that, even though it's a small amount increase of the budget, then I will concur with them. And so for that, I make the motion to accept the increases as presented.
Is there a second to that motion, and we can continue discussion with a second?
Yeah, Jeff, or Mr. Downey, I need to know if I'm allowed to make the second, since I wasn't there at the meeting when you decided on the salary review commission study as to who to include and who not to include before you sent the letter to the board. If I'm permitted to participate, I'll second it, but if I'm not, someone else has to second.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're permitted to do that, Terry. I assume you've reviewed the minutes from the meeting as well as the study commission.
Okay, so I will second it.
Thank you, Commissioner Baker. I think you're well versed to check on that. So I have a first and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, call for a vote for the approval of the ordinance, to adopt the ordinance.
Hello, this is Wayne. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, my mute keeps going on and off for some reason.
Same here, Wayne.
To be consistent with my earlier comments, I'll be voting no on this as well. The only increase I support is for the sheriff, but I don't feel now is the right time for an increase for elected officials in general. The sheriff is a full-time position, and I know we're not revoting on the entire list of proposals, but just for consistency, I agree that on one hand, providing a fair compensation can attract good members of our boards and of all of the boards. But again, I don't want to inch closer towards that becoming a career. So I think largely what I consider what I do and what I think a lot of us do is it's about the public service. So I'll be voting no.
Okay, Wayne, thank you. Mr. Downey, when would these increases go into effect?
It would take effect with the next term of office. So essentially, that is after the next gubernatorial election in 2022.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions, comments? If not, a call for a motion to approve by name and vote.
Jeff, let me ask Kirk a question.
Yes, sir.
What's the total fiscal impact in dollars? If you have that with you.
I do not have that figure. I can get it.
Yeah, because I thought it was very, very minimal.
Generally, I do not think the recommendations are very extensive, with the exception of the sheriff. But the other increases were relatively small. Of course, there was no recommended increase. The commissioners did not decide to make any to the county.
All right. Are there any more comments? Is there we already have first and second to approve.
Hold on. This is Cormano Schmidt. If I remember correctly, the commissioners, we did not increase ours. The Board of Education, they agreed that in their budget, again, it was $1,500 for each of the increase, and that they could assume that in their budget. The orphans court judge, that one there, I don't remember if we increased that one. The sheriff, of course, we did that. And then the liquor license, they said that is going to be covered in their fees, that we don't actually, it doesn't affect our budget at all. That's their internal fees.
Yeah, and the treasurer remains unchanged because obviously he's compensated on the county's regular scale.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Any other comments? All in favor, say aye by name.
Wait a minute, Jeff. I want to say something real quick.
Oh, okay, Randy, go ahead.
I tend to agree with Commissioner Kiefer, and then I'm sort of on the fence. But with that being said, we received, I think, emails, all of us, from President Williams. I did go back and read the suggestion again from our committee we tasked to investigate it, and they, being as they so highly recommended because of their job duties and descriptions, I'll be a yay on that. So.
Any other comments? If not, I'd vote by name. All in favor, say aye.
Terry, aye.
Randy, aye.
Jeff, aye. Two more people.
Wayne's a no, if you're waiting on me.
Yeah, thank you, Wayne. I'm going in and out on my mute too as well. Court, can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm an aye.
4-1 in favor. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next on our agenda is the contract award PUR 1481 Facility Design Service. I believe Rick Curry and Mr. Eisman are presenting.
Yes, Rick Curry here.
Thank you,
Yes,
Rick.
Andrew Eshelman here.
Mr. Eisman, thank you. Proceed at your convenience.
So before you, the contract award PUR 1481 Facility Design Service Requirements Contract. Recommended motion move to award the primary requirements contract for facility design services to LS Grimm Consulting Engineers of Hagerstown, Maryland, who submitted the lowest price proposal amount of $69,840 at a specified unit cost. There are no guaranteed maximum or minimum hours as permitted in the requested proposal. Also, there will be a standby list of consultants to be awarded. As you see in the RK-BART Incorporated of Towson, Maryland, submitted a total proposal of $78,080. Burkett, Kohler, Murphy, and Associates, also known as BKM of Baltimore, Maryland, submitted a proposal of $79,688.40. Albany Engineering Incorporated of Hunt Valley, Maryland, submitted a proposal of $81,275.04. And last, Delta Engineer Architects, Land Surveyors, and Landscape Architects of Chevy Chase, Maryland, submitted a proposal of $84,100. The service for the project is in a 6-year CIP program that covers the general operating budgets and anticipated emergencies. This is a 2-year contract with a 3 one-year options for renewal. The services will be utilized as an as-needed basis. As I stated before, there are no guarantees as to the maximum or minimum number of hours to be awarded on this contract. There are 2 distinct manners that the contract will be awarded. Any project that is $50,000 or less will be awarded to LS Grimm. Projects that are deemed to be $50,000 or more will be submitted to all the consultants who will then submit a proposal, and then based upon those results, that consultant who submitted the lowest proposal will be the awarded contractor for that particular project. As you also can see in the ARF, the project was advertised on the various websites and the local newspaper, had 97 persons download the document, 22 firms are represented during the pre-conference, teleconference. 14 proposals were received. Out of those 14, 12 of those proposals were deemed responsive, which then they were open, prices were opened. Also, there's funds budgeted in various accounts for the projects, and we have concurrence from the coordinating committee as a recommendation for LS Grimm Consulting Engineers of Hagerstown, Maryland, for PUR 1481. That concludes my recommendation of award for PUR 1481. Any questions?
This is, should I make the motion to approve that? To approve as submitted.
All right, that's
Second, Terry.
I have a first and a second. Any other comments? Hearing none, vote by name, please. All in favor, say aye.
Terry, aye.
Wayne, aye.
Jeff, aye.
Randy, aye.
Randy, aye. There you go. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Next item on our agenda is the contract award, PURI 484, Fire Company Special Procedures and Auditing Services. Mr. Curry, Sarah Greaves, your turn. Thank you.
Morning.
Good morning. Please begin at your convenience.
Again, Rick Curry, Director of Purchasing, 74 years contract award PUR 1484, Fire Company Special Procedure and Auditing Services. Recommended motion move to award a contract for Fire Company Special Auditing Services to responsible firm UHY LLP of Columbia, Maryland, to lowest proposal value of $56,000, and professional fees for each supplemental services, as you see, for partners, $275, managers, $225, supervisory staff, $175, staff, $125, and others, which is in turn would be $75. The RFP was advertised on the various websites, also in a local newspaper. We had 19 companies download the document. Excuse me. There were 9 firms represented at the pre-proposal teleconference. 3 proposals were received. Those proposals were deemed to be responsive. The prices were open for those proposals. Funds are budgeted and the account is listed in the ARF. We have a recommendation as a coordinated committee. Also, you have the fee schedule of the proposals and an excerpt of the scope of work in the RFP document. And that concludes my recommendation award for PUR 1484. Are there any questions?
I just have one, Randy. So obviously we haven't done anything but this to move toward audits, right? Do we have? Go ahead.
Do you mean for the fire audits for the fire company?
Fire audits. It's been like well over a year. I'm just curious of what's, I'm just curious of, the longevity of getting it together.
Right. Well, once the contract is signed, they'll have 180 days to complete the services. We did get direction in the fall of 2020 to proceed with the fire audits. We did complete the EMS audits last year, and this was kind of the next step. And so once we received that approval, we created the purchasing document and we're able to get this out on the street. So we have actually moved pretty quickly on this from the time of approval to start working on it and the allocation of funds until now. And this will be for the auditing of their 2019 fiscal years.
Hey, commissioners, any other comments? Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the audits is presented. Randy.
So, second?
This is Wayne, I second.
Okay, have a first and a second. Is there any additional comments? If not, I'll call for a vote to approve by name. Jeff, aye.
Cormano Schmidt, aye.
Randy, aye.
Wayne, aye.
Who else? Is that 4, Terry? I have 4. Terry, can you hear us? Krista, do we still have Terry? We have 4 votes on that. Is there Terry's the one we need?
I said yes, Jeff.
Oh, okay. Thank you. My phone's been going in and out on me, so I appreciate that. All right, it passes 5-0. Thank you very much. Next on our agenda is electronics recycling pricing. Dave Mason, Solid Waste Deputy Director. You're on. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners. Need a motion to approve an increase in cost for electronics recycling program with Ffcra Glass LLC. They want to raise the price 1 cent per pound of CRT materials from 17 cents to 18 cents per pound. We've used this company since September 2019. At that point, they replaced Unicore. Unicore at the time was raising their price from 17 cents a pound to 20 cents a pound. And with the current program, we'll still get the non-CRT materials at no cost.
Okay. Commissioner comments, thoughts?
Yeah, Dave, you said 1 cent. What's in total dollars?
It really just depends on the amount of electronics we ship.
Okay, approximate.
I think we budgeted $30,000 to $40,000 this year for electronics recycling, and that includes our shipping costs. So,
Okay.
1 cent
Yeah, I
per
still don't
pound.
know what 1 cent. I still don't know what 1 cent means in total dollars. That's just a curious question.
Okay.
Our fiscal impact shows 70,000. Is that the cost for an entire year?
Yeah, that's the cost for the entire year, and that includes the shipping cost. It costs us about $1,500 every truckload, and we wait till we get a full tractor trailer load before we ship anything out.
Dave, this is a quick question. Is this really cost neutral to us, or the individuals that are dumping the CRT material or throwing it away? Are they going to have the increase in costs?
We've tried to keep the cost of recycling pretty steady because we're encouraging people to do it. So we do take a little bit of a loss on electronics recycling. This overall won't affect us too badly. I mean, we lose money on recycling every year, regardless of its regular recycling or electronics recycling, tires. But we try to keep the cost down just to kind of encourage the citizens to keep up with recycling.
And that 18 cents is, as you put, is still the best price available?
Yes, yes.
Then unless there's more discussion, then I'll make the motion to approve the increase.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
This is Wayne. I'll second.
Okay, I have a first and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Those that approve, say aye by name.
Hi, Randy.
Hi, Wayne.
Aye, Jeff.
Hi, Terry.
Okay, it sounds like 5. Krista, you got 5 on that one? All right, next agenda item, express approval, Town of Hancock annexation. Jill Baker, you're up.
Good morning, Commissioners. Can you hear me?
Gotcha.
Perfect. Jill Baker, Washington County Planning Director. Today I'm here to present to you a request from the Town of Hancock for express approval of an annexation along Warfordburg Road. The request today is for 3 parcels along Warfordburg Road north of the Town of Hancock. They are seeking to annex 3 parcels that are about 131-ish acres into the town for the purpose of growing their tax base and growing their commercial and industrial employment. As in the past, basically the basis for seeking this approval comes from the local government article of the Maryland Annotated Code. Basically what that requires is the zoning that's being applied by the town under the new classification to be substantially similar to what the zoning of the county is. As you'll see in the discussion there of the ARF in your agenda packet, the parcels are currently zoned highway interchange under county regulations. The town is proposing to apply business general zoning. When we compare the 2 different districts and what types of uses that they seem to allow, there does not appear to be a significant difference or a conflict between the 2 zoning districts. For that reason, the staff is recommending that express approval be granted to this annexation. The purpose of express approval would be that if the county would grant that, assuming that the two zoning districts are significantly similar, the town and the property owner would be able to move forward with development on the property immediately. If express approval would not be granted, that would mean that they would have to wait a period of 5 years before development could occur that was substantially different from the current county zoning district. So we're not approving the annexation in any way, shape, or form. That is a function of the town and their autonomous jurisdiction. We are simply granting the idea that the zonings are similar and therefore development should be able to occur in a timely fashion. That's all I have on this topic. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Jill, I have a question. I guess Hancock, they did have a public hearing, and if so, was there any opposition?
There was no opposition. There was nobody in favor or against this project.
Thank you. Commissioners, any other questions?
Just one quick one, Jill, Randy. So right now we got a highway interchange. They're going to do business general, and it's still going to be limited to what they'll be able to do with business general. It won't be as good as highway interchange, correct?
At this point, yes. The way their zoning districts read, it's slightly more limited.
But they do have, would they have the opportunity somewhere down the line if someone come in there, a big company, and needed highway interchange to revert back to highway interchange with a zoning appeal?
No. Once you're annexed into the town, you follow under the town zoning laws. So the town would have to adopt a new zoning district that would be similar to the counties. They cannot revert back and forth between the county and the town. They're two autonomous jurisdictions.
Gotcha.
Right. Any other questions?
This is Wayne. Just for clarity to that, essentially what you're saying, Joe, is then from this point forward, that would be the town's decision. The county would not be involved, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Good
And
question.
I know my counterparts in the commission know this, but for anyone who may be listening, I believe this is part of the larger attempt to develop that area of Hancock along the Mason-Dixon line. When a couple weeks ago, I brought in the request from the town of Hancock to support an Interstate 1 off-ramp. This is very near to that property and part of the same grand idea for that space.
All right. Any other comments? Commissioners, thoughts? Motion to approve?
This is Wayne. I'll make a motion to approve the express annexation.
Randy,
second?
Randy,
I have a first and a second. Is there any other questions? If not, vote to approve. Say aye by name.
Aye,
Jeff,
Terry.
aye. Jeff, okay.
Aye,
Who
Wayne.
else? Okay. Krista, was that all five? Because some of them overlap. Is that everybody? All right. Thank you. 5-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Jill. Next up, Restaurant Relief Grant Phase 2, Hotels Lodging. Susan Small-Grimes, you're up.
Good morning, everyone. Today I'm here to talk about the Restaurant Relief Grant Phase 2 and the Hotel and Lodging Provider Grant. We have a motion to approve the acceptance of the grant funds in the amount of $811,338,000 for the provision of the additional restaurant relief and $581,461 for the provision of the Hotel and Lodging Business Grant Program, both coming from the Maryland Department of Business Management through the Department of Commerce directly to the county. As you know, Maryland has launched an additional $30 million grant program to continue the direct relief for the restaurant industry across the state. Additionally, they've added a $50 million grant program to fund direct relief to hotels and lodging across the state. And as in the past, the funds will be allocated to local jurisdictions in the form of a grant from the state and must be dispersed to businesses no later than March 31st of 2021, which now had extended the Phase 1 of restaurant relief to that date also. The Department of Business Development is going to be utilizing the previous restaurant relief program from November 2020 in order to disperse the second phase of funding. To enable to reach a wider range of restaurants, we are asking those restaurants that had already been awarded through the restaurant relief program in phase 1 to refrain from applying to phase 2 so that we can relieve more restaurants. The maximum award for this restaurant or for the grant program is a total of $20,000 as it was the last phase per applicant, and would be administered on a first come first served basis until the funding has been expended. The hotel and lodging provider grant program, those grant awards have been predetermined by a number of things. One, Commerce has given us some criteria to follow to proportionately base their grant amount on the size of the hotel, the number of beds, as well as some other factors that are going to be laid out in our application for the applicants. The Department of Business Development is going to be putting the application on our website as we would with the phase 2 of the restaurant relief in timely order as soon as we can get a recommendation to do so. So we are ready to receive the funding from Commerce as soon as we get this motion passed, and we can start accepting applications as soon as the commissioners would recommend us to do so.
Okay. Susan, I have a question or comment. So you're asking us to move to approve the acceptance of the grant funds for both of those programs today, correct?
That is correct, sir.
Then will you want individual motions to approve the restaurant relief grant to continue and for the lodging grant? This is another motion, or can we do all that in one? And other question, when will these become effective for the application process?
As a point of clarity, I'm not sure if we need 2 separate motions because we have 2 separate agreements for each amount of money. That's probably best, but I would.
Okay.
And
Well,
then the programs can start. I mean, we are ready to roll them out 8 o'clock tomorrow morning if the commissioners are okay with that. Now, just also as another side note, and I think Sarah Greaves is on here as well, we as the county have not received the funding from Commerce yet. So we will start the application administration on our end and be prepared to roll out the funding and awards as soon as we get the funding from Commerce.
Okay. How about first if we have a motion to accept the 2 grant fundings? Would that be appropriate?
Yeah, there's going to be some, I have a couple of questions, Jeff.
Oh, go ahead, please.
When's the deadline to use up all of this money?
It all has to be dispersed by March 31st of 2021.
Okay, so if it has to all be dispersed by March of 2021, I don't have a problem, and I don't understand why restaurants that have already received couldn't go ahead and put in an application, because if restaurants that didn't receive doesn't utilize all of the money available, that way you could divide it up equally among the restaurants that have already received that need additional help. So I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Okay, we had planned on funding the remaining restaurants from phase 1 who were unable to be funded first because we ran out of money. So I believe there were.
How many restaurants? Okay.
I think there were 17 of those initially. And so that leaves approximately 23 $20,000 max grants left. And just from our experience, I think they're going to go really quickly.
Okay, Susan, commissioners, do we first need a motion to approve acceptance of the 2 grant funds? Would that be appropriate?
I'll make the motion to approve the 2 grants funds, but Susan, after the conclusion of this, if there's still restaurants that have applied that have not received any grants, if you could let us know the number of those, I would like to know that.
Okay. Court's made a motion to accept the grant funding for both projects, programs. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Randy.
Okay, I have a first and a second to accept the 2 grant funds. Any other questions? If not,
yeah, this is Wayne. I have a question, if I may.
Sure, Wayne. Thank you.
Susan, could you just explain again, as far as the funding for restaurants and hotels? For restaurants, it's another flat $20,000 up to. For hotels, it's based on a formula that includes essentially number of hotel rooms?
Yes, there were some criteria that we received from via the agreement with Commerce that they are requiring us to adhere to. So there's a minimum of 10 rooms for large hotels and lodging providers, and then a minimum of 5 rooms for bed and breakfasts. So there's a bit of a tiered system that we have to kind of follow for their reporting.
What's the greatest amount of money any one hotel could get? What might the least amount? What kind of a range are we looking at?
The greatest
Because
amount.
it looks like our pool of money for hotels is less than for restaurants. Yeah.
Yeah, but the greatest amount is right around 24,000.
Okay.
And then there's essentially an amount per room. That's how, we've kind of figured out how we're going to do this based on how many hotels and lodging providers actually qualify under the Commerce criteria.
What's that amount per room? Has that been calculated?
Hold on one second here. I have it. $244 per room.
Okay.
And to answer Court's question, there are 16 restaurants that were left unfunded from phase 1.
No, I would like to know how many will be unfunded after phase 2. So if we,
I see. Okay.
There's roughly 17 to 23 different, if 27 apply and we can take the 23, I'd like to just know that number to see if there's anything we can do to help those other ones.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We have a first and a second to approve the acceptance of the grant funds for both programs. Is there any other questions? If not, we'll have all in favor. Say aye. A name.
Susan, you did say the maximum amount any motel could receive would be $24,000.
That's correct. And that's for the hotel lodging providers with 10 or more rooms.
Gotcha.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Terry, aye.
Wayne,
Jeff,
aye.
3. Is there Randy? I couldn't hear.
Randy, aye.
That's 5 aye. Now, Susan, do you need a motion to release the applications to begin the programs? Is that what you want next?
Yes, sir. Yes, and I'd like just a clarification as to whether or not we are going to accept applications from restaurants who have previously applied and been awarded, or if we're going to do, moving forward, those who have not been applied or
I think
awarded.
earlier you mentioned the word refrain. Are we making them ineligible is what you're asking?
Right. I think Commissioner Baker had brought up that he would like to see folks who had been previously awarded be able to apply.
Yeah, Susan, I think the motion was as presented.
As presented. Yes. All right. So now we need acceptance or approval to release the applications.
Hi, this is Sarah Greaves. Can you guys hear me, Chief Financial Officer?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, great. I just wanted to add also to this conversation, clarifying statement. Susan Small had stated earlier that we have not yet received the funding. And so I just wanted to clarify related to the disbursement of these funds. Will the commissioners also approve prior disbursement, even though we have not received the funds physically? We do expect them, and I just wanted to make sure that that was clear and that we were not going to hold.
It would be my opinion that we don't disperse any funds till we have the money in the bank, but we should be ready to release the funds as soon as the money appears in our banks, because many of these restaurants are struggling. So that would be my recommendation. I don't know why we would release money prior to having it. So that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Or Sarah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. This is Wayne.
Yes,
Sarah.
Yes, sir.
Is this money guaranteed? Has this been? I'm thinking. We forward funded based on a promise from the state of Maryland, money for the Maryland Theater and some downtown improvements. So if this is guaranteed in the same or similar fashion, the restaurants are hurting in January and February, even without COVID. It is a tough month for restaurants. So, I think this is probably in keeping with forward funding the downtown improvement project. So I would be in favor of that if the money is guaranteed to the same degree.
Yeah, Susan, have you guys signed all the grant agreements and everything?
Yes, everything's been processed. We were just waiting for the final acceptance to be able to forward it back to Commerce, I believe. But I know that the restaurant relief program was a simple addendum to the initial agreement. So I think we're just essentially waiting for the funding.
Yeah, I do feel confident that the funding will come, and that would be up to the commissioners whether they wanted to forward fund or not.
Have we heard anything from the state as to when we expect to receive those funds? This is John, by the way.
I have not, and I've tried to get kind of a clarification, but I haven't been successful.
Neither have I.
And so it's just so the commissioners are aware, and I mean, I think you are aware of this, but Susan had mentioned that the applications and all the materials and all the information is ready to be released, I think as of 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Just so the commissioners are aware, our public relations department did send out a press release last week notifying the citizens that this information will be coming. I think once the applications are open and live, I'm sure they'll be returned quickly, and then there'll be some review by our staff. So it won't happen immediately, but it will happen very quickly. So I guess that the question that they posed to you is, once our business development department just determines who's eligible, whether we want to go ahead and release those funds, as they said, forward fund those, or we want to wait till the state returns the money. So I guess that's the issue. And yes, the agreements have been signed. The addendum was signed. The agreement was signed and returned to the state last week. So I anticipate the money will be coming quickly. And I'm not sure, Susan, you may want to, how long it takes from the time an application comes in to the time it's approved and we can move forward. I'm not sure how long that is.
I'd say 7 to 10 days at the most, until we process them, for completion. And we do need to double check everyone is in good standing with the state. And once that's done, it has a back end process with staff, and then we fund. So 7 to 10 days at the most.
Yeah, so this is Terry. So my thoughts are, if it's going to be 7 to 10 days, we've already approved the motion to move forward. And then next Tuesday, you could come in and say, do we want a forward fund, or the money's already there? So this could hold off, that answer could hold off for a week.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
I agree.
Well, we don't meet to the 26th, so we wouldn't be able to come in on the 19th.
You're right.
I would
Your
suggest
phone's
we
working
just
now,
take the
Jeff.
applications and be ready. My suggestion is to accept the applications and release the money as soon as it is deposited by the state. That's my suggestion.
And I do like that suggestion, Jeff. So I'm gonna agree with Jeff on that.
Thank you, Terry. I think it's just being cautious and safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Commissioner Klein, but if for some reason we come back in 2 weeks, it's not there yet, I think we should, I agree with Commissioner Baker there also, that we should look at it in 2 weeks. If the money's not been received, I think we should revisit that.
All right, Mr. Monterano, Mr. Downey, do we need a motion on that topic right there? Because that was outside the motion to accept the funding, or could that be included?
Yeah, I would just say, I don't think that, are you talking about a motion to not forward fund?
Yeah, just to take the applications and release the money once we receive from the state. That was outside the motion to accept.
I mean, you made a motion.
Go ahead, Kirk. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, you made a motion to accept the funding. Now I think you need a motion to approve the additional restaurant and hotel grant programs. And that can include whatever stipulations you want in terms of.
Very good. That's a good, okay, what we have there then, do we have a motion to initiate and start the programs with all the questions and comments we just had prior?
This is Commissioner Ffcra. I would make a motion to accept the program as presented and start the receipt of the applications, to hold off until we receive the funding from the state to immediately disperse, but then to also in 2 weeks' time for the commissioners to be notified whether or not we've received that money, and consider at that point in 2 weeks, should we forward fund.
Very good. That's a nice summary. Is there a second to that?
I'll second that. Or
We have a first and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye by name. Aye.
Terry,
Jeff?
aye. Terry, aye.
Wayne, aye.
Management, aye.
I
Yeah.
thank you, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Commissioners.
Thank you. Next up,
President Klein, just
Yes,
one
sir.
more thing. I just wanted to say that to court that we will, as we move through this process, if the money runs out before everyone who has applied receives those funds, we will come back to the board and report that information to you as to how many applications are remaining and how much was not funded.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
all right, thank you, everyone. Nice discussion. Next on our agenda, request for extension of Fort Richie purchase contract. Mr. Downey, County Attorney, you're up. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioners. As you know, Fort Richie is under a contract of sale. Prospective purchaser is John Krumpovich. He remains interested and committed to the purchase of the property, as well as its redevelopment and the economic benefits that would provide to the Cascade community. The contract is set to expire at the end of this month. Obviously, as you know, there's been litigation involving the proposed contract. That litigation is at the appellate level at the Court of Special Appeals. Argument has been made on the appeal, and we are currently waiting for the decision from the court regarding the litigation. But we are not sure when that's going to occur. And therefore, the prudent thing to do at this time is to extend the contract. And just to be on the safe side and to allow for any other appellate action that may occur, we've proposed that it be extended, specifically the closing date be extended till the end of, actually, it would be the earlier of 45 days after the appeal is concluded, or no later than July 31st, 2021. We think that's an outlier date, but given what may occur as eventualities, we figured it would be easier to put that in rather than having to come back again. No other terms of the agreement of sale are changed. This is simply a housekeeping matter to extend the closing date to allow the litigation to conclude so that title can be passed.
Motion to approve to extend the contract 45 days after decision or July 31st, 2021.
Court Minor Schmidt, I second it.
Am I still on?
Yep.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Is Sarah there?
I am here. I'm here,
Yeah,
sir.
I'd like to get an update on the funds that are still available from the original Fort Richie fund balance, and then
Okay.
I'd like to know how much it's going to be costing the county to keep this property until it's sold, and I'd like to know the total dollars that the taxpayers are going to be responsible for this lingering on.
Okay. What is available from the prior funding? What is the cost of the extension?
Yes.
Okay.
I think you calculate that monthly.
Yes, sir, we do. We keep a rolling chart on that, so I will get
Yeah.
that.
Okay, thank you.
You don't have to answer this, Kirk, you don't have to answer this, but it'd be my suggestion, and I'm sure you and your staff, is that I know we're carrying this property because of the extensions, because of the litigation. So I would assume having a number like that right now might not be as fair, because I would assume, providing the outcome of this litigation, hopefully
I'm back.
that loss.
And it could work the other way also, Randy, where we get sued.
Or we,
And be
give your comments, Randy.
Say that
Okay,
yeah, I'm done my comments, so, you know.
okay. Can anybody hear me? I got cut off.
We hear you.
Okay, thank you, Krista. I'm sorry, folks, I got cut off. I joined back in.
Yeah, Commissioner Wagner, I don't know if everybody else could. I couldn't hear the end of your comments. So
I think the end would is providing on the outcome of the litigation, basically, any figure we hear now, we all know it's costing us money to carry this property because of litigation. So my desire, request, and hope is that legally there's a way to recover this money or some of it after the litigation is complete. We've actually won one litigation. Now we're waiting on the second outcome, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Not looking for an answer from you, just saying what my desires are.
I completely agree. You know, if there's a way that we can recover anything, I think we should go after it. But you know, Kirk, do we have any time frame when we think we're going to get this back? I know you know, are we looking at the end of the month? Are we looking at February, or is it just because of COVID, everything's costing and lasting longer?
I can't give you a firm answer. You know, it's up to the court to issue its ruling whenever it deems appropriate. I sort of was thinking we would have already had a decision by now, but that doesn't necessarily mean that one isn't going to be forthcoming. On the other hand, you know, it's almost impossible to appellate court schedules when they issue opinions. But I would think it would be coming sooner rather than later.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioners, any other comments?
This is Commissioner Kiefer. I'll just comment that I'll, as in the past, vote no on an extension. My original comments from several months ago, if not more than a year ago, stand that I don't like the unknown liability that's being passed along to the taxpayers of the county for the dam, the lake, the sewer, water infrastructure, and the roads that the county will continue to maintain. It's not in keeping with what we do for other developers, where developers bring the property up to county standards and then we take over that infrastructure. So that's an exception. I do think it's different than when the property was advertised as is. When we made these concessions, sure, in negotiations, things can change, but that's not what was advertised. And so I don't think everyone who placed the bid, it wasn't how the property was advertised. And maybe if we did advertise it and stuck to the fact that it was to be sold as is, we wouldn't be in this situation. So I'll be a no respectfully.
Thank you, Commissioner Kiefer. Any other comments from the commissioners? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the Sixth Amendment?
I already motioned, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, I was cut off on that. Was there a second for the discussion?
Yep, I second it.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was offline for a while. I have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye by name.
Aye, Miles Schmidt.
Aye, Jeff. Those opposed by name?
No, Terry.
Thank you.
Wayne, no.
All right, thank you. Passes 3-2. Thank you all for a good discussion. Next, I need a motion to go into closed session.
I make the motion to go to closed session.
I second.
Terry second.
They have a first and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye by name. Jeff, aye.
Terry, aye.
Court Miles Schmidt, aye.
Okay. How many is that, Krista? That's 4. Is that 5? Is there 5?
That's 5.
All right, thank you, Krista. All right, good day, everyone. Leave Deb Condo, you're to present.
Yes, Commissioners, I would like to request an approval for the hiring of James Hastings as Assistant Superintendent of Collections, position number 1110 at a grade 13, step 9, annual salary $62,920.
Motion to approve.
Is there a
Second.
second? All in favor, say aye by name. Aye, Jeff.
Aye, Court
Hi,
Minor
Wayne.
Hi, Randy.
Aye, Terry.
All right, that's 5. Deb Condo, you're up again.
Thank you, Commissioners. I would like to request the approval to hire Tamara Pitts for the position title of Transportation Engineer, position number 157 at a grade 15, step 2, annual salary $61,734. This falls under the Division of Engineering.
Motion to approve, Randy.
Court Minor Schmidt, second.
All in favor, say aye by name. Jeff, aye.
Terry,
Court
aye.
Minor Schmidt, aye.
Randy, aye.
Deb Condo, is that all you have for us?
That is it.
All right, thank you. Commissioners, a motion to adjourn?
Thank you.
It's Court Minor Schmidt, I make the motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second, Randy.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Wayne,
Aye.
Terry, aye. Terry,
Thank you
aye.
all very much. We're adjourned.